From Montgomery to Hill, Greene County and Perry, Portia taking on the Blackbelt, and she ain't scared. Marengo County, something county, Will, Cops, and Barber. Interviewing everybody, sister, brothers, and mamas. It's Portia.
Just some flat, what you call the stuff? Oh, he done went out. Hey, everybody, come on in. Come on in the room. Now you back. Jerome got.
I'm back. Okay.
You know Mississippi ain't got no good connection.
Hey, we have a great retirement plan, Bill Pierce, but we don't have no good connection.
I heard a couple people say, tag me in the thing. I don't know why. Some people get the notification. A lot of people don't get the notification.
Really?
Yeah. So make sure you guys go ahead and share this video. We very, 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 very much appreciate if you do that. Somebody named KG said, hey, Jerome. KG said, hey, Jerome. I don't know if you know who that is.
Tell him I said, what's up? I can't see anything. It's still connecting. So,
well, right everybody can see you clearly.
Okay.
So whenever it pops back up, we'll definitely we'll definitely do that. Please share the video. And we appreciate you guys coming in tonight as we discuss the fate of HBCUs in our particular nation. Tuesday, I told my pastor the wrong date. It's July the 30th. I'm sorry, I'm doing like 30 things at the same time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I just want to say what's up to everybody. Make sure once again, you share the video. And I'm trying to tag a couple of people in the video, and then we'll get started talking. Jerome, how you been, man? You can hear me? He done went out again. See, that's what happened when you in Mississippi. Stuff like that happen when you're in Mississippi. See, that's why you should come back. Well, Laramie, if you don't want to hear about what's happening at HBCU, then why did you join in on the live? Because you can
tell my good brother don't act like that.
First of all, he went to West Camp. So he need to hear about HBCU because he definitely missed the Black experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My mom said she in the house. Hey, mama. How you doing, mama?
Hey, Miss Brown, how you doing?
All right. Hey, Mr. Stewart. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Tasha. What up, Jane Frank? Lamb, go on log out because you're getting on my nerve. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this conversation started. And if Jerome's signal was stay, first of all, quit moving. That's the first thing that you need to do is to quit moving while we're on here on the show right now. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have no idea what happened to Jerome, mama. His phone keep going in and out. That's why I keep saying that's a Mississippi thing. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with him. I'm in the great state of Alabama. And so we don't have that problem. Who's that? Tasha. Good evening, Tasha. Good evening, Portia and Jerome. How are you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. First of all, don't move. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's just not move anymore, Jerome. Stay right there. Do you understand? Thank you. Do not move. I know what the problem is. If you take off that Alabama thing behind you,
ugly here we go. Don't listen, Portia. Don't you start, nothing. Don't you start. Don't start tonight.
If you take that off, then first of all, that would definitely happen. Somebody want to know, are you single?
Somebody asked, am I single?
Somebody asked me, were you single?
Single and ready to mingle.
He's
Tell me,
single
hit
and
me up.
ready
Tell
to
me to jump in
mingle.
them DM. Jump in that DM.
Don't get in
All
the DM. Don't do that. That is not what this show is about. First of all, Lammy said you must be in Scuba, Mississippi.
Scuba.
Yeah,
That's a new one.
yeah. He tried to be funny. He tried to say you must be on the war.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
All right, I got my girl Ashley on there. Hey, Ashley, how you doing? So recently, I did a live post talking about the fate of HBCUs. For those of you who do not know, historical Black colleges and universities acronym is HBCUs. That's what it is. It stands for historical Black colleges and universities. Black colleges in our across this great nation. I think aren't we down to like 104 HBCUs nationwide? And we had so much more, but because of mishandling the money, things like that, those issues have definitely tainted the image of historical Black colleges and universities, as well as hurt the brand per se. That's one of the reasons, I'm not a Beyonce fan at all, and to the Beehive, don't start putting no bees onto my post. But I'm not a Beyonce fan. But one of the things that she did do was highlight some of the fun things that happen at historically Black colleges and universities. And we've seen recently HBCU at the last HBCU presidential meeting, they put out a report that they've seen an increase in interest as it relates to historically Black colleges and universities. So we are happy about that. But the fate of it, the overwhelmingly understanding of what historically Black colleges are and the importance of HBCUs is something that we definitely need to talk about. And so that's why Jerome is here, is so we can have this discussion tonight as we talk about the importance of supporting HBCUs financially, how to be active after you graduated from college and while you're in college, and what will happen if we are not. So that first question is the importance of supporting HBCUs. Why is that so important?
First off, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So stay there. Stay there. We can see you. Stay there.
Okay. Well, the importance of supporting HBCUs. First off, for everybody who may not know, I am a proud supporter of HBCUs. I'm a 2-time graduate. Shout out to Stillman College and Prairie View A&M University. I got my start at Alabama A&M University. But it's so important because we have to realize that many of our students come from communities that are disenfranchised.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have the same opportunities as our counterparts. And right now HBCUs are underfunded. Which means that we have high turnover rates with our students. So it's extremely important that we, number one, give back. A lot of times we graduate, and based on our experiences at our institutions, we may not be so willing to give, but we must learn to see the bigger picture. Like, we have to learn to leave a legacy, and that comes with changing the culture of HBCUs. Again, we are underfunded. We don't get the funding that most PWIs receive. So it's harder for us to retain students. Students come with a lot of baggage.
Yes.
A lot of baggage, and it's only at an HBCU where we can nurture and create an environment that's conducive to their learning. We care. So we take the time to give them what they need. A lot of PWIs, they don't get that. You're just a number. So we have to take the time to reinvest in our HBCUs because if we don't, we're going to continue to lose them. And as you stated earlier, we are closing HBCUs constantly. Even if you go on the campuses, you'll see that buildings are dilapidated. Boards up on the buildings on our campus, buildings that have been around for years, hundreds of years. but we can't afford to maintain them because we don't have the funding. Housing is another major issue. And I don't want to steer you off topic, but yeah, we have a lot of work to do, man. And it starts with us. Charity starts at home and spreads abroad. And until we shift the culture and teach the importance of giving, we must develop this philanthropic culture. We have to give back, um, or our HBCUs won't be able to sustain. And we see that day after day.
Now, a lot of people. Okay, you have. I hear both sides of the argument. I know the importance of HBCUs, and I also hear what people say as relates on why they do not give back. What do you say to a person who was hurt by their school, and upset about how leadership and things are going at the school? I know you hear this a lot.
Yeah.
What do you say to that individual as it relates to financial contributions?
Well, again, I would ask that they see the bigger picture. Yes, our institutions are behind.
Correct.
They're outdated administrative systems, which is indicative of our experiences. You know, I can recall being at Stillman College and had to stand in line to register.
Yeah.
Colleges around the country, you register online.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that is frustrating to have to stand in line all day. But again, it's where we are right now. If you truly care about the advancement of your institution, you want to make it better. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. But if everybody have the same mentality that you have, that, you know, my experience was terrible, I'm not giving them anything, they would never progress. So again, you just have to see the bigger picture. And I think that comes with maturity and with time. But yeah, don't be like, please. Don't.
When you're thinking about the finances, a lot of people don't understand how that particular thing works. You know, why is it that schools are always asking people to give money when they get federal dollars? This is the rumor. They get federal dollars, they get federal money, so they don't really need the money because they're messing up the money that they're getting. Can you explain exactly how that works?
Well, I'll do my best.
Okay.
I think it's important for people to realize, number one, that schools receive funding based on numbers. Again, as I stated, if you are not able to retain students, you're not going to keep the funding. So there's an interconnectedness between federal funding and student retention. Why institutions, specifically HBCUs, try so hard to raise funds to retain students. Because again, it's a system. It's based on head count. So if we purge 1,000, 2,000 students, you best believe the next time it's time to fund us or to get Title III funding, we're going to lose out.
Right.
This funding is necessary not only to retain students, but for program usage. Man, it takes money to make money. Long story short, we have to send out collateral, especially in institutional advancement. We do a lot of fundraisers. So in order to keep the donors and the alumni base in the know, it takes money. We don't have a tree out there that we can go pull off of and create all this beautiful material to send out to invoke you to give. Or we have to pay to use social media platforms for certain giving bases. Like, it takes money to make money. So it's necessary. It's warranted.
All right. So you guys have heard the financial part of the conversation, which is where I wanted to stress on that, because, you know, we're going through some things at Miles, and just like it's Stillman's situation, you know, we talk about, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, but the involvement is not there. And that's where I want to take the conversation now, on the importance of being involved. You talked about alumni, you know, with giving, but, you know, you give and then, okay, I give, you know, I pay my tithe and offer. You know, I thank God for being able to do that. and I'm very active in my church, verbally and physically active in my church. And part of that is the same way you should be at the institution. Why is involvement, giving your talent, and money? Why is that time and investment physically important?
Well, I look at it as I have a background in community development,
Okay.
and have you ever heard the saying "it takes a village to raise a child"?
Yes.
The same thing applies to students and institutions. Again, our students come from all different walks of life. Um, they come with baggage. They come with issues, and it's important as a donor that you stay involved. Number one, to connect with the student body. Number two, to stay aware of the initiatives that's being launched by the institution. And number three, to ensure that the institution is using your funds the way you allocated them to be used. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So a lot of time people give and they don't hold the institution accountable. And in that sense, yeah, you will have misappropriation. But if you are active, a donor or alumni, you get involved. You ask for those end of the year reports. You make sure that that endowment, that $50,000 endowment that you set up, you make sure that those funds are going to students as you deemed it so. All of that's important. It's important. It's important for the institution to grow. Um, it is necessary, man. I can't stress it enough. It helps build the morale at the university. Ever been to the football game and the stadium is half filled? You know what I'm saying? You don't get that same vibe that you get during homecoming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you always stay connected and stay involved with your institution. Um, Man, I can't stress that enough. And we go through this day after day with donors and alums. It's easy to write that check.
It's
Um,
easy now.
it's easy to write that check, but when you have a love for something, you get involved. So that's our number one goal is to create a culture where our donors and the students they get involved. They get involved. Again, if you're aware, if you're in the know, you're more prone or susceptible to giving or to help us reach our goals. So
What
that's our approach and that's our ideology.
what would happen if it stops?
You'll see. If the involvement stops, number one, you have to realize that students pay for a college experience. They don't always pay for an education. Uh, when you first get to a school, you look at how quote unquote hype it is. So students buy into the experience. If again, if there's no activity going on, if the alum's not involved, there's no activities on campus, students are going to withdraw. Students are going to withdraw. And again, all of this stuff is interconnected. So if our students withdraw, we're going to lose out on funding. Again, you have to have so many students in academic programs to meet accreditation.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's all interconnected. You play a major role and you don't even know it just by supporting the small events. And I know everybody's busy. They have a life,
Of
what I'm saying?
course.
They have kids, they have jobs. But again, if this is your alma mater and you care about their welfare and their well being,
Right.
um, you would teach and encourage other people to give back. Word of mouth is so important. We know we're now in a social media age, but guess
Mhm.
what? Uh, those alums that hold that institution near and dear to their heart, they may not be tech savvy, which is again one of the reasons why we have to do the whole paper thing, the collateral, because people don't check emails. Our older alums don't check emails. They don't get on Facebook to connect with the institution. They're traditional. If you want to connect with them, send me a letter. I will
Right.
send you a check. I'm not getting on PayPal to give you $50. So if you make it tough for me to give, I would not give.
Right. I tell them. Oh my God. You.
Make it easy for me to give, and I'll give. So you have to take that in consideration when you come up with your approach and your method for your particular fundraisers. Because again, people will give, but people give when it's convenient for them, and
that
you
is,
have to cater to your donor base.
all right. Well, a lot of the things that you're saying, I've said it a lot to our alums, and I'm glad that I know a lot of the alums that I wanted to hear the first part of it. They came on to talk about the importance of that. What is the fate of HBCUs? We down to 104. We're from 180 to 104. We're down to 104. So many of the news just came out about Bethune-Cookman College. They had an interim president that took 10 million. Before that, it was 28. That's a total of 38 in 4 years. You have so many schools that are closing. Stillman almost closed for lack of transparency and things like that. What is the fate of us? What will happen to historically black colleges if these patterns continue?
Well, as you can see, we will continue to dwindle down until we're non-existent.
Wow.
I think it's so important, man, that we redirect our approach. We have to get in this mindset that we can still preserve our traditions and take a modern approach to things. And I think a lot of time with HBCUs, especially with people that's been around 20, 30 years in the same position, they're not as open to change. And I know we can all relate to that one particular employee at the institution that has been there 40 years in the same office with a stack of papers this high off the ground. And, that's the culture of HBCUs. And we have to get to the point to where we begin to modernize and we look to innovation. If not, we're going to lose the millennials. They're the wave of the future. And we have to figure out ways to keep them engaged and to keep them connected. Um, so yeah, having the outdated administrative systems, it weighs heavily on the student experience, and that's what students are buying into.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're buying into. So again, if you can't create that culture, that experience for them, you're not going to retain them. You're not going to keep those numbers, and funding is going to continue to decrease. Um, which puts a strain on fundraisers in the divisions that are actually responsible for raising money for the institution. Um, so yeah.
All right. So you have a couple of questions. So just a second. This from Ashley. Earthly. That's okay. Why is it so hard to make administrations understand that how students are treated determine the giving of coins? They should be held accountable. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, I totally agree. Listen to me. I am with you 100%. And again, it goes back to people have been in these same positions
Mhm.
for so many years. They get comfortable, and it comes down to institutions not holding employees or administrators accountable. And presidents have to wake up. Administrations have to wake up because when you have these people in these positions and they treat the students like they're pretty much nothing, or they feel
Right.
like they talk to them any type of way because they're students. Yes, students again they buy into the experience and they don't have to stay there and they will not stay there. What you'll find is students are you may have 8,000 one semester. You come back, guess what? Enrollment down by 500.
Wow.
Students are not satisfied with the way they're being treated. Uh, they're not satisfied with the overall experience. So guess what? They jump ship. They go elsewhere. If I'm gonna buy into the system, at least I'm gonna get something out of it that's fulfilling. We have to also realize too that we're competing with a lot of online programs.
Right.
Students don't have to go to traditional college campuses
Right.
anymore. You know what I'm saying? When I can just sit on my couch, log onto my laptop, and do what needs to be done to earn that bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree. So institutions have to take that into consideration as well. That they're competing with online platforms. Um, we have to make that change. But again, I totally agree with you. Administrators have to be held accountable for how they treat students. It's unacceptable. Um,
All
and,
right.
and continue.
Good job. All right. So who's that? Crystal, Dr. Crystal, Dr. Martin.
Hey, that's my mentor of
Oh, okay, then hey.
Dr. Martin.
You
She was
said
my advisor at Alabama A&M University. She's been
okay.
rocking with me the whole time. Big ups to Dr. Martin.
Okay, who's this? She said, does she work at Miles? No, I do not work at Miles. I'm just an alum. I have a student from Memphis who attend Miles. She needs financial assistance. Tell her to contact Omar Young. Omar Young. Omar Young. Tell her to contact O. And we would direct her and definitely hook her up. You can tell them that Portia Shepherd told you to contact him. That's my name, Portia Shepherd. You can tell him that, and O will hook her up. Yeah. First of all, my boss want to know: have you ever heard of Geraldine, Alabama?
Say that one more time.
My boss said, "Have you ever heard of Geraldine?"
Geraldine, Alabama?
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Exactly. Ain't nobody heard of Geraldine.
I can't say that I have, ma'am.
No, nobody heard no little bit of Jet. She always asked about Geraldine. But I do want to make sure that she said, "Who's that?" Great, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. But I do want to say this before you go about the importance of what he just said that last time talking about administration. I had met with the guy from UA. He was an alumni. Mm-hmm. And on a particular day, they do a lot of calling. They just calling alums or whatever. And he said one particular day he can remember that he was talking. They were calling students that were on their retention list to find out why they left. Okay? Because if they find out why they left, then so 3 out of the hundreds of students who left because of a professor in a particular department. This was at the University of Alabama, I can tell you this. And he said that particular professor, so they have this form that they fill out or whatever. He said he took those 3 forms and he took it to the department head and he said this professor is a problem. And if he cost us 3 students, he's cost us 30 or maybe even more. You need to fix this particular issues because all the issues were similar to what that professor done. Then let that professor go. When they found out that he would let go, they did a call back to those students and said, we just want to let you know we heard your complaint. We fixed what he said. We want to let you know that professor is no longer here and won't be a hindrance to your education. Where would you like us to send your reentry application? He said out of those 3 students, 2 came back.
Exactly. It's all about
they fixed the issue. You are not going to continue. That's what he's saying. You're not going to continue to get students. One of my coworkers, one more thing, I know I'm talking a lot. One of my coworkers is going to Lee University. This is why I say about what he's talking about moving with the times. One of my coworkers, Little Maria, everybody call her my little daughter, but she's going to Lee University. Mm-hmm. And Lee sent her this thing to because she's a first generation college student or whatever, a package. Listen to me, Jerome. I'm gonna post a picture after this conversation. But she sent a package of a comforter set, sheets, all this stuff. Wow. It has pillows in it. It has pillowcases. Has a night lamp. It has a fan. All this is in a package that she can order for $200 and something. The only thing she has to do is, because we're doing like an office party before she go, we just got to buy her like toiletries and things like that. But they already have it. Now, they do this for everybody. But this is a first generation college student who don't know what to buy, who can't go to their parents and say, what do I need to get for my dorm room or whatever? They have it available for her. And I saw that today. And it blew my mind. Like she can go online and pick what color, and when she get to campus on her move-in day, it's gonna be sitting in her room. That's the level that I'm trying to get us on at HBCU to meet the immediate need. Do you know how many first-generation college students come to historical Black colleges and universities who don't know? That's why they fight and bring that stuff that they know from where they come home there, because they don't know any better, because they don't have a force behind them to teach them better. That's what he's saying. And unless HBCUs get on that level, we will continue to fail. But go ahead. I'm going to let you say that. Then you got another comment. Hey, Mariah, how you doing?
Yeah, I want you to go back, though, because earlier you talked about the importance of building a strong pre-alumni base.
Yes.
And I think that's very important, too. Again, when you think about I went to a case workshop in Atlanta a couple of months ago, and it's for professionals in the Division of Institutional Advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I had this one workshop, and it was called Black Philanthropy. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the guys, he's over admissions at Morehouse
Okay.
School of Medicine. He facilitated the workshop, and one of the things he said was we have to keep in mind that when it comes to Black philanthropy, we're only like 2 generations removed from wealth versus our counterparts. Hence the reason that they have endowments of like 300, 400 million. Um, we don't have it like that. And it's important that as African Americans, we teach the importance of philanthropy, excuse
Yeah.
me, and the importance of giving back. We have to create that culture because, again, most of us are first generation students. Our parents didn't have the luxury of going to college, or maybe their parents didn't teach them the importance of going to college.
Right.
So, again, this is a culture that we have to create, and it has to start somewhere. And we can begin to teach our students the importance of giving back through pre-alumni engagement. That's I feel like that's an organization that should be on the campus of every HBCU. If you want alums to give, you have to teach them how to give.
That's right.
If you
Preach.
catch them before they leave the institution, you can create that culture. And when they leave, not only will they give, but they will have a love and affinity to that institution, and they will continue to give, and they will inspire other people to give. That's what we have to do. But again, when you deliver poor customer service and
Right.
students have poor experiences, if I come to you as an administrator, I'm frustrated. I have no money. I'm about to get purged out of the system. I can't afford books, and you have an attitude with me. That one conversation can determine whether or not I stay enrolled in that institution.
That's right.
If you at least show me some compassion, you know what, son, I don't. I'm sorry you're going through this, and I really hate that you had to experience this. But let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call over there to the office. I've been here for 40 years. I know everybody on campus. There's funding somewhere, even though they may have told you that. But let me call over here and see what I can do. Uh, and that alone is enough for a student to stay enrolled in. They just want to know that you care.
Right.
They just want to feel love. They want to know that you care. And again, once you create that environment, students will give. Students will inspire others. And then they will represent that institution on a global scale. They'll be proud to represent Miles College, um, regardless of where they are in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to corporate giving and things like that, is also important because a lot of corporations give back to HBCUs. But again, if you mistreated a student and they land a job at a Fortune 500 company, no, they're not
They're
going to
not gonna
support
get
that institution. You know
what,
what
what they not gonna do is give back. That's
I'm
what
saying?
they're not gonna do. Dr. Martin said if only HBCU will follow suit and send some people packing, they will be powerful. They will be powerful. Uh, Felicia, does mine have a pre-alumni count? I don't know. I know they had it when we were in school, and most of us are the ones that are involved. So it does what he's saying does make a difference in teaching, and not just the week of graduation, sitting coming in and making a speech and talk about give, give, give. Like that's not going to be the way to do it. It has to be a continuing thing. So when they do, like he said, when they do leave, you know, they can actually give the institution some money because you do have successful HBCU graduates that are doing amazing things across the world. And you be like, why you ain't giving back? Man, I had a bad experience. Or this professor, man, so and so still there. Man, long as so and so still there, I ain't gonna get to school today. That type of stuff. Instead of giving and saying, okay, kind of like what's the guy name that UA got mad at Cover House? You know, you gonna take my 26 million. This what I expect from you. Then they didn't want to do what he wanted, so they gave it back. But the reality of it is, if I'm giving you my money, you're gonna do what I tell you to do. And I think that that's important for us to have that same attitude when it comes to the schools that we love. All right,
I need alums to understand too the power that's associated with giving. Like you have the ability to influence the culture at that institution simply through giving. Let me tell you, they will look to you for guidance and leadership. you'll be amazed at the access that you'll have by being a good donor. Um, yeah, it's perks. It's perks that come with being a donor, man. So, again, if you are serious about your institution, if you are serious about raising the standard, raising the bar, helping your institution move to the next level, um, you have to give. It's no way around it. And then, when you give, man, you can designate specifically, like, say, for instance, if you graduated in poli-sci or
Right.
engineering, you can make sure that your gift goes strictly toward the School of Engineering. Or if you were the athlete, you can make sure that all of your funding, because in the agreement, you stipulate where your money goes, and that's one of the things about stewardship. The institution has to make sure that they adhere to the guidelines that you've set. So you control where your money goes. Um, just give, and it doesn't matter how much, even if it's just $10 a month. We receive, checks sometimes $2, $3 a month, but they're giving.
But they give it. That's what I'm saying. They're giving.
$2 a month adds up. You know what I'm saying?
It
You
does.
can have a student purchase a book one semester. You know what I'm saying? There's people
I
just
wonder.
need.
You got a comment from Mariah. Mariah, she said that's real. That was one of my biggest reasons for leaving the HBCU I attended. The attitudes of administration. They acted like they didn't care. KG says, I was told by an influential person that recruiting students bring in more dollars than just writing a check. What's your thoughts on that?
Say that one more time for me. I'm
She
sorry.
said, I was told by an influential person that recruiting students bring in more dollars than just writing a check.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Because again, you can recruit all day. If
Right.
you lack the funding to actually retain students, what good is recruitment?
Right.
You'll spend more money recruiting, and than you will actually keeping them there. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know that I totally agree with that one because it takes money to recruit. I know our recruiters, man. They're all over the U.S. And again, we have to set a budget in order for them to go out and to do these things because it takes gas. They have to have collateral material. Again, they're going around to different high schools. That's costly. So if we do all of this and spend all this money each year on recruitment, but we lack the ability to actually retain our students, recruitment is pretty much obsolete. The end goal is to uh, increase enrollment, retain our students, and help them graduate. It's a 3-step process, And again, you can recruit all day, but if you can't retain them, you just wasting money.
All right. Now, I just want to take your consent before we go to the last. We'll go to the next statement, and then I'll get your final thought. Now, you said that someone gives $2 or $3 a month. I just took the $2. I know Jackson State has between 3,000 to 8,000 students a year. So I didn't even do all your graduates or all the people who attended there. I just did 25,000 students. Okay, 25,000 graduates or 25,000 alums, because everybody who's an alumni is not a graduate. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did 25,000 alums at $2 a month for 12 months. That's $24 a year. So $24 a year times 25,000 people is $600,000 a year.
Checkmate. That's what I'm getting.
That's $600,000 that they know they'll get from just $2 a month. That's why I tell people all the time, it does not matter how much you get. Just give some.
And guess what? You waste more than that on frivolous things.
I
do. But again, man, it doesn't take much to give. If you just commit to giving $10 a month, just $5 a month, you will help a student stay enrolled. You'll help a student get the books they need for that particular semester. You know what I'm saying? You'll help the institution meet their financial goals because they have goals that they have to meet as well. Man, you can have a major impact and you don't have to give a lot. And that's the biggest misconception with HBCU giving. People feel like they have to give, and they look at people like the Robert Smiths that give the $50 million or the $20 million. You can have a strong or a tremendous impact with that $5 or $10 that you give consistently. to your institution. So don't be deceived, man. Don't be deceived. You don't have to be a millionaire to make a difference.
All right. Who was that? And Sherry said, I took Maria to Lee one time and she was hooked. Lee University. I mean, she was like, we go to Celebrate Recovery on two. Well, I go on Tuesday. I missed 2 weeks. I gotta go next week. But one of the things that happens there, she told me when she came back from Lee, she said, she called me, everybody, like I said, everybody called me her mom. She was like, you my black mama. She Latino. And she said, it was like CR is Celebrate Recovery, where you're a praise God. She was like, it felt good to be there. And I think that's what he's talking about, is that once I get you there, not just football season, after football season is gone, once I get you there, to retain you is the most important thing. Felicia says, so how can we advocate to alums that not given to your institution because of people will hurt more? We have to realize that your institution is what made you, not the people. So she said, how can we advocate to alums and send out that message?
Well, I think it's important for institutions to, number one, have a certain level of transparency. If you know in the past that you have misused or you was a poor steward when it came to donations that people have made, you have to be open and honest about that. And that's the first step. There has to be a certain level of trust in order to get people to give. Because think about it. Every time your institution is in the newspaper or they make the headlines, giving it drops. There's a major decrease in giving when your institution is in the headlines and there's a negative connotation associated with it. So again, we have to be open and honest and transparent about where we've been and where we're trying to go. I think once people realize that institutions are taking accountability for their actions, then you can begin to build those. Because in fundraising, man, you're always cultivating relationships. That's the name of the game. And if you can't cultivate those relationships, people are not going to be willing to give.
Right.
It's about trust and honesty.
Right. All right. So let's talk about final thoughts. These are your final thoughts. These are things that you want to leave your audience tonight as it relates to. Why did I want to come down? Hold on. Let me see what's going on. Okay. As it relates to HBCUs, all the things that we talked about, just your final thoughts on everything that we talked about as it relates to HBCUs, and to encourage others who are watching or who will watch later why they have to give to their institution. I'm going to let you talk.
Okay. My final thoughts. The state of HBCUs right now, we're in a critical space, man. We're losing students, we're losing funding, we're losing buildings. As I stated earlier, you'll find that most HBCUs are more susceptible to tearing down 200, 300-year-old buildings versus restoring them, and it all comes down to a lack of funding. If we do not step up to the plate and take accountability for the state of our institution, we're going to lose them. We're going to lose them. So again, if you love your institution, if you enjoy homecoming, if you enjoy having that school spirit, man, you got to give. You got to give. You got to ask your churches to give. You got to ask friends to give. Anybody that has any type of affinity to that institution, you got to ask them to give. You know what I'm saying? And I know we have this little rivalry thing that we do amongst the HBCUs, but at the end of the day, man, we're one big family. And the end result is we're trying to create a culture to where we're educating students and we teach them to be productive, to go out into society and to make a difference. Teach them to be civil citizens. And that's the end goal. But we got to give. We got to give. We don't give. We're a culture where we're conditioned to give to churches, and it took me back to that statement where I said we're only 2 generations removed from wealth, but you will be amazed at the amount of money that our churches have raised over the years, because we were taught at an early age the importance of tithes and offerings. So grandmama gave, auntie gave, they gave their 10%. We have to have that same mindset when it comes to giving to our HBCUs. And I know, regardless of our experience there, man, they needed to sustain.
All right. Well, you guys have heard it from Jerome. He said hit him up on Facebook. If you got any more questions, if you want to get him to come in.
And another thing before I go.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Teach your kids, man. I hear a lot of people say, I would never send my child to HBCU. Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't you see? Matter of fact, most Fortune 500 companies come to recruit from HBCUs. Most of the engineering STEM programs, they come to HBCUs to recruit. Why wouldn't you send your kid to HBCU? Come on, man. We got to change our mindset. We are our own worst enemy. You know, and I understand that we, again, is based off some of our personal experiences,
right?
But you have to let that go, and you have to see the bigger picture.
Elizabeth,
our schools around, man, we got to give and we got to support.
Elizabeth Stern, she said, "Thanks, y'all. She worked in Universal fundraising for 5 years. She's learning and listening." And Samantha Kelly said, "I came late, but what I heard was great." That rhymes, Sam. I came late, but what I heard was great. Come on, Cam, with the bird, Hey! Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jerome, thank you so much. We got to continue the conversation. We'll definitely do that. I want to bring, she said, even though she did not go to HBCU, she would.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. I definitely see Olivia. That's her daughter. I definitely see Olivia at HBCU. She'll feisty little thing. I see her doing it.
You don't have to attend an HBCU to understand the importance of an HBCU.
Right. I see Liv there saying that Liv, that's her daughter. She's somewhere now. She need to go now. She need to go. Thank you, Ms. Ada Davis. She's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jerome. We got to come back. I want to bring one more person with you when you come back again to talk about financial aid and stuff like that, and how parents can start putting back for college early now. And also I want to talk with some students because I told some students I saw that came on about the good majors to major in so they can be able to get a
good job.
A good job. Sam said sorry for the man face, but yeah, I'm telling you that Leah, she HBCU ready, baby. She ready for it. All right, thank you, Jerome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share the video. Portia takes on the Black Belt. Hopefully we can get Tori on next week as she talk about farming in rural areas, a female farmer. If not, I'm trying to get my coworker Jerica, who's a female cattle farmer and a nurse. But and she has over 200 acres of land that she farms from. And she's a female farmer, and I want her to talk about how women can get involved in farming and still maintain a career. You know, she left work one day to go help deliver a calf. Like that's the level she on. So that is a field that needs agriculture. Definitely a field to go back in, especially with hemp coming and things like that. I want people to understand. That's why A&M is starting back to recruit hard, heavy in the Black Belt. Because that's what majority of the agriculture students came from back in the day, and they've died off. And so they need to retain that. So look for that as well. So thank you again, Jerome, for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for staying on. Love you much, and we'll be back soon.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
From Montgomery to Hill, Greene County and Perry, Portia taking on the Black Belt. She ain't scared. Marengo County, something county, Will, Cox, and Barbara.